Have you ever been the only person in a room who's completely stone-faced while everyone else is losing their minds over a game? Yeah? Well, you're not broken, and you're definitely not boring. It turns out your indifference to sports isn't just some random preference. It's actually a super fascinating window into how your brain is wired. So let's get into it. And this idea right here, this is the core of everything we're going to talk about. On one hand, you've got vicarious emotion, that huge thrill people get from watching someone else succeed. But on the other hand, your brain might be hardwired for self-focused progress, a totally different kind of reward. It's this fundamental split in what we find satisfying, and we're about to unpack it completely. So before we can really understand why you might be sitting on the sidelines, we have to understand what in the world is happening in the stands. What makes being a fan such an incredibly powerful psychological force for millions of people? The answer is pretty wild. Okay, so it all starts with this concept called BIRGing. It stands for Basking in Reflected Glory, and it's this amazing psychological trick where the success of a team you like feels like your personal success. It's a direct hit of self-esteem. You didn't throw the touchdown, but just by associating with the team, your brain gets a nice little taste of that glory. And you can literally hear BIRGing in action all the time. The social psychologist Robert Cialdini called it the pronoun test. Just listen for it next time a game ends. After a big victory, it's always, we won, we were amazing. But after a crushing defeat, all of a sudden it becomes, they lost, they played terribly. That tiny little word change is a massive defense mechanism for the ego. And that brings us to the other side of the coin, CORFing. That's cutting off reflected failure. It makes perfect sense, right? Just as we glom on to a team's wins to feel good about ourselves, we shove their losses away to protect our self-image. It's this little psychological dance. Embrace the win, reject the loss. But this isn't all just about ego and psychology. There's actually a biological reason for this intense connection. And it's all about these amazing little things in your brain called mirror neurons. These are the cells that fire up not only when you do something, but also when you watch someone else do that same thing. They let you literally mirror their experience. These neurons are basically the engine of empathy when it comes to sports. They are the reason why a fan can feel the absolute soaring high of a last-second win and the gut-wrenching low of a defeat, almost as if it happened to them personally. It's an incredibly powerful shared experience. All right, so we get it. Sports fandom is this potent cocktail of ego, identity, and straight-up brain biology. It's a big deal. Which, of course, brings us right back to the central question we're trying to answer. Seriously, if all that machinery is in place, why do you feel, well, nothing? Your brain isn't broken. It's not rejecting excitement. It's just looking for that excitement somewhere else. The psychological triggers that make fandom so compelling for others just aren't getting pulled for you. The real question is, why not? And here it is. This is the core conflict. Your brain is built to prioritize satisfaction from your own advancement. The dopamine reward, the good feeling, it doesn't come from watching a spectacle. It comes from making actual progress on your own stuff. Your sense of accomplishment isn't tied to a team winning. It comes from inside you. Now, this mindset isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. Actually, psychology suggests that there are several pretty distinct profiles of a non-fan. We're going to break down 5 of the big ones, and I'm willing to bet you'll recognize yourself in at least one of these. So let's meet them. We have the self-focused thinker, the disillusioned realist, the redirected mind, the peace seeker, and finally, the honest realist. Each one represents a totally unique psychological reason for staying off the bandwagon. First up, we have the self-focused thinker. This is really the profile we've been building up to. For you, the default question is always, how does this move me forward? It's not about being cold or selfish. It's a deeply wired need for personal growth over just watching something. Your validation comes from your own progress, not from a team getting a trophy. Next is the disillusioned realist. Maybe you even used to like sports, but over time you've started to see through all the marketing and the hype. You have this moment where you realize that cheering for millionaires, no matter how loud you are, isn't going to fix your problems or help you grow. That's not being cynical. That's just a demand for something more meaningful. Then we have the redirected mind. Now you don't reject excitement. You've just found it somewhere better. Your brain craves things like novelty and mastery, things you can actually do, not just watch. Solving a complex coding problem, finishing a creative project, or finally beating a hard level in a video game. That gives you a much richer kind of simulation. Okay, our 4th profile is the peace seeker, and for you, this is way more physiological. The constant shouting, the huge crowds, the intense emotional roller coaster, it's just noise. It's overwhelming to your nervous system. You have what psychologists call a low arousal preference. It's not about being detached. It's about needing a calm, quiet environment to actually think and feel your best. And finally, we have the honest realist. This is the ultimate pragmatist. Your brain is constantly running a return on investment calculation for your time and your emotional energy. Why pour hours and emotional stress into watching a game when you could be putting that same energy into your own goals? You guard your focus because you know it's your most valuable asset. But this growing indifference, it isn't just happening inside our heads. Beyond our individual psychology, there are these huge cultural and even ethical shifts going on that are reinforcing this move away from sports. And get a load of this number. According to one recent study, a staggering 27% of Gen Z say they actively dislike sports. Now compare that to older generations where it's only about 5 to 7%. This isn't just a small trend, it's a massive cultural pivot that's happening right now. And of course, there are some really practical reasons for this too. I mean, our lives are busier than ever, so sitting down for a 3-hour game is a huge time commitment. A lot of us are just naturally introverted and don't love the chaos. And honestly, with a million streaming services, video games, and podcasts, the competition for our attention is just brutal. This quote brings up another really crucial layer, the ethics of it all. For a lot of people, the mental gymnastics required to be a fan are just becoming too much. It's getting harder and harder to separate the game you love from really serious issues like player safety, athletes' off-field behavior, or controversial team names. For some people, the only ethical move is to just step away entirely. So, after all of that, what does it really mean if you're a non-fan in a world that is obsessed with sports? Well, I think it's time we reframe that indifference. It's not a lack of something, but a powerful focus on something else. Let's be really clear about this. Your disinterest isn't a passion deficit, not at all. It's a passion surplus that's just being directed somewhere else, towards building things, creating things, learning and growing on your own terms. You're just choosing to focus on your own game, not someone else's.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. Whether you're a self-focused thinker, a redirected mind, or an honest realist, your choice to look away from the field is a choice to look towards your own life, your own goals, and your own progress. And at the end of the day, what game could possibly be more important than that one?